Whew, how you all doing? I hope you're doing okay, because I had no idea that the messages that were coming through in that live reading, like how real they were. I think for all of us, I don't know how many times I said in the readings, I feel like this is for all of us. I feel like this applies to all of us. We all have a little bit of a Taurus. We all have a little bit of Gemini. We'll have a little bit of something. The veil is so thin right now. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm just telling you. I don't know if it has something to do with that full moon that just occurred last night as I'm recording this, but the veil is incredibly thin, and I've even had like a relative and a friend contact me because of some strange paranormal thing that has happened to them. And so yeah, I actually wanted to get on here and let you know I'm okay, because a couple of people, you're so sweet. You're like, how are you doing today, Cindy? Are you okay? So I am okay. I'm really tired. But my day has been going really well too. So that's nice. My day has been going really well. And I did want to talk about like what I did to kind of protect myself from what I felt like was a very negative energy that had come into my space. And also I want to talk about, you know, how we identify something as negative, and that we should we shouldn't look at things just on the surface. If you've always been told that the symbol of this represents purity and rebirth, and trust me, negative energy will cloak itself and disguise itself in that if it believes that you will let it come through. So you can't look at anything on the surface. You should always discern, and you should look at things in context. So I'm going to talk about what I experienced leading up to the reading, the live reading that I did yesterday, I guess in the evening, then what was identified in the video by a viewer. And I went back and looked, and it freaked the crap out of me after I thought about what had happened to me prior to that. And I immediately felt, hey baby, come, this is my little hero. This is one of my little heroes. Oh, she's a good girl. She looks after mommy. You do. You're a good girl. Lily was, she was barking. She was barking. She was not happy with that corner of the house yesterday. So the veil is thin, and I think when the veil is thin, all energies can come through the veil that normally wouldn't. Dark, light, low, high vibration. So I think it's important that I want to get that out there, because I've seen it in my own world, and I've seen it in a couple other people's worlds. But I also want to say that you do have complete power to make sure that nothing negative or malevolent, I still have that bar, you know, the bad shit, is governing your life or controlling it. You have free will, and you can exercise that free will to keep yourself in your vibration and your energy pure. So let's get into what happened. So a couple nights ago, or maybe about 3 nights ago now, it was a couple nights ago leading up to, I love you and thank you, leading up to the video that I did, the live stream, I had a dream. And in the dream, a snake approached me, like a snake in my dream. And before I had any time to like converse or kind of establish what was going on in this part, I want to also say at this point, it was a lucid dream. It wasn't like, there's different ways I feel like things happen in the subconscious. Sometimes they're dreams and your mind is working things out. And I feel like a lot of times you don't necessarily have a lot of control in that, because you're almost meant to be a bystander and witness things that are happening and allow your mind to process your day and your life. And then there's other times where it's much more lucid and you have almost like full control, like you do in the awake. And then there's things that I feel like sometimes it can be hard to identify the difference, at least for me, between a lucid dream and an out-of-body experience. I think there's a very fine line between that. So I'm just going to describe it as a lucid dream. And at this point, like very quickly, before I could agree or disagree or anything, the snake started going up into my shirt. It was the most uncomfortable feeling I've ever, like, I don't have a fear of snakes. I've picked them up. I mean, I would give a poisonous snake. Maybe I would turn it into a steak, I don't know. A lots of space. Not that we really have many of those. We have Massasauga rattlers up here in Canada. I think that's the only one. They're pretty rare. I've only seen one once. Mostly garter snakes we have up here. So they're not really something I've grown up being afraid of. So that's not really, it's not a fear. Like, it's not something that would show up in a dream to me to symbolize a fear. And to be quite honest, it didn't really feel like a dream. There was something very lucid about the experience. And I was just trying to get it out, and it wouldn't. It was like the whole experience was against my free will. It made me feel very uncomfortable and very violated. I think that's the most important part about how that felt. I felt extremely violated with this snake. And I don't mean like in a sexual way because it went under my shirt, like not like that at all. Like violated in a very spiritual and, you know, mommy gets all worked up. Yeah, but you're here now. I know. You have my back, I have yours. I love you. Good girl. Good girl. You're a good girl. I felt very violated in the dream. I was struggling, and then I woke up struggling, and I felt it. I could still feel it on me, which was very disturbing. And it took a few seconds for that to fade, and I just laid there. Like, I was on my back when I woke up, which might point to an out-of-body experience, because that tends to be how I have them. Look at them. Yeah, you're blocking some. Somebody's sending jujus through the camera. They cannot send the jujus. So that was a dream that I had, and I thought it was strange. I don't think I've ever even had a dream about a snake before in my entire life, and if I have, it's not been significant enough that I've even remembered it. So it was weird. Like, you know, I thought about it for a little while, off and on. The next day maybe I was thinking about it, and then it kind of left my memory. I just chalked it up to maybe a very weird dream or experience, but there was something that bothered me about how I felt it when I woke up. And I'm going to touch on, I've experienced that once in an out-of-body experience that, you know, I'll put, instead of me reciting that entire thing again, I'll put the video that's in. It's about discovering that my childhood home has been demolished. But there was a point in my life where, and I'm sure we've all been there, where we find ourselves kind of like at the end of our rope, or at least just feeling like completely forgotten by the universe, like just angry and upset, and really not understanding why perhaps your life is going in a certain direction, and feeling like you're doing the best that you can and being the best that you can be, but everything around you is not kind of following that divine order in any way. And there was one night in particular where I was really upset, and I was mad enough that I just told the universe, you're not here for me. I don't need you. I'm not saying that now. I'm just reciting what we talked about. It was very much, I was angry at God, and I was angry at the universe, and I just put it out there, and I might as well do this on my own because you're not there for me, kind of thing. And I'm not saying that right now. I'm just reciting what we talked about time ago. And I was in bed at night, and then I went to sleep, and holy crap, it was like, I feel like I had invoked, pretty much telling like divinity to back away and to leave me, and it did. But it didn't. What was interesting was it left me exposed, almost like to show me how much protection we actually have when we're not even aware that it's there. So I'll tell you what I experienced. Again, I can't call it a dream. The whole experience was very lucid, like the experience with the snake. And I could smell and I could feel temperature. I could feel humidity in the dream. I just call it a dream. And I found myself in what I would describe as a room that was halfway under the water, maybe like a submarine, but it was built more like a house. But everything was decaying. Everything was rotting, and you could smell it. You could feel the humidity, the rank of it. I would just describe it as a very rank environment. And the water, like outside the windows of this space, were half submerged, like, and it was slowly sinking more and more into this. It was just like, it was like the rankness of humanity, and like all of the dirty, evil, dark, negative energy was in this space. And I was there, and I could feel it all around me, and I could almost feel it like his little fingers trying to creep up, like, oh, there she is, look at that, like this little prize for us to play with. Like, it was just feeling very vulnerable, exposed, and witnessing something that you kind of always figured was probably there, but you know what, not. So I try to start moving in this environment. Like, do I get out? What do I do? Standing still doesn't feel right because I can feel it creeping around me, like finding me here. So I started to move, and I came around a corner, and this is weird. It was a big steel object ahead of me, like maybe about 30 or 40 feet in front of me in this room. And as it opened, it reminded me of like a dishwasher, right? So the door opened towards me. Again, it's far away, like a dishwasher would. And then this drawer just came out. And again, as this experience is happening, this thing that I'm in is continuing to sink into the rank liquid that's around. And like this, I can't, it's just like green and gray and dripping and putrid and horrible. And all of a sudden this tray comes out, and all these knives, different sizes, different lengths, but they all look like very sharp. They all start elevating out of this thing that I would just describe kind of like a dishwasher. And then they start turning, and they're aiming at me. And right at that instant, I don't remember what I did. I just like, get me out of here, get me out of here. And I think I woke up kind of like screaming, yelling for help. And I woke up and I was in my bed, but I could feel it all around me. Like that's that feeling of like you bring it with you. It's almost like where you were there, you're still kind of partially in that environment and in the 3D. And I woke up immediately. Oh, I felt it. Oh, that's what it was. It was starting to crawl on me. Like I could feel it under my clothing, under the sheets with me. It was weird. And I realized, like at that minute, what I did, I realized I was shown, like, this is only a portion of what you don't see, what you don't feel, what you don't experience, because like divine energy is around you at all times. If you want us to go, this is where you're taking yourself. But it was almost like, you know, the little kid that says to mommy or daddy, I'm fine at the park by myself. I don't need you there. Leave me alone. Ah! All right, kid. But you know, they don't really leave. And I don't feel like I was completely left alone. It was almost like a tether was still there. Like, you know, the parent was hiding behind the tree, and all of a sudden like bullies or predators start coming out from behind the bushes at this park. And this little child suddenly realizes, oh, maybe I do need mommy and daddy. And then there they are. Like, it was just that feeling. But I woke up immediately. I cleansed myself. So this snake thing in my dream, my lucid dream, felt very similar to that energy. It wasn't half the power. Like, it was something that violated my free will. It was something that just violated me, and predatory. And I would describe it as like both predatory and like leeching, like taking your energy, wanting it. But it quickly just removed itself. I don't know if I think that was leading up to that full moon. So I think Lana Scott had mentioned it, and I'd heard it before as well, that in the comments, that, you know, the 3 days leading up to the full moon and the 3 days after the full moon are very strong periods as well. So anyways, I kind of put the snake thing behind me, but then when I saw that in the video, I knew what it was. And what really bothered me was when it came out from the wall, the corner of the wall, where there is no hole. It's not a real snake. And it was making a beeline for me in the video. Lily was in my arms and she was looking at it. And it was almost like the fact that she, I think, was seeing it. Like, she had my back. My back was turned. And then it went that way. I feel like this thing was trying to violate me somehow. It was trying to come into the space. So that's I knew it wasn't a symbol of rebirth. I knew it wasn't a symbol of healing, of medicine. Maybe in a very indirect way for me to find something within myself, but the thing that I found within myself was almost like a long lost memory from a past life or past lives, to protect myself and clear this energy, as opposed to embracing it and just accepting it for, well, snakes symbolize this. Because I do tell you from experience that the wolf will approach you in sheep's clothing. Don't just look at it at face value. You need to see it in context, and you need to know how you feel. And if it is someone else's experience, it is not good advice to tell them, don't worry about it, it's okay. Because yeah, people understand their own context. So that's important as well. If you feel something that is going on and people are telling you it's okay, but you know your context and you know how it makes you feel, don't let them change that for you. So that's important as well. So I decided I need to smudge the house. I think my son wasn't even home yet. He wasn't home during that video. I need to smudge the house. So I went and got a white sage stick, and as I was preparing the stick, I suddenly got, I guess you could call it a download, but it was like a memory. It was almost like recalling singing happy birthday. Like it was a memory that was, this incantation came to me and it was so familiar, but I've never created an incantation. Actually, I've sat down a couple of times to try to create an incantation and I never could. I just couldn't do it, because an incantation it's very particular about the words that you use. They have very specific meanings. So it is important to think about the words that you're choosing. And there is power in rhyming these words. I think it gives momentum and intent to what you're stating. So I am going to share the incantation with you, because you can use it in different ways. Like I said, there's a family relative and a friend that I've actually just shared it with because of something they experienced the first thing this morning and last night. So just to clear your space, I wrote it down. So there's a blank. When I say the blank, that's what you put in. Like if it's a negative spirit, if it's dark energy, if it's a serpent, a snake, whatever. That's what you put in the blank. Okay? So banish the blank from this place. Oh, like, okay, so this is the other thing. Depending on what you say, okay? So let's say the blank is a singular. It's one thing, defined as one thing, like a snake. But if you want to say, banish the snake and the serpent from this place, they are not welcome within my space. Mine was singular. Banish the snake from this place. It is not welcome within my space. Like, I don't know where it came from. It was just crazy. And I am tired. I am tired because I feel like I've been through so much in the last couple of days. And I felt like I was walking through another time. The way that incantation came over me was just weird. It's almost like, you know, when you have you're in the moment of a spiritual experience that is a little bit unexplainable, you're just flowing in it. And then after the fact, you just kind of sit back and think, that was odd. Like if somebody was telling me that, I wouldn't believe them. It's just so weird. So it was like that. So I've been like kind of working that out for myself, and just feeling like there's parts of myself that the veil was thin. It's tiring when the veil is thin. I know everyone says we need to thin the veil, we need to see the truth. It is exhausting. It can be very exhausting. And maybe it's just over time, or maybe it's also relevant to the situation that I was experiencing at that moment. But it was almost like a part of my soul just came up and said, you need this right now, use it, honey. And it was almost as if when I was saying it, it felt like something as simple as, you used to use it all the time. It's just like sweeping the floor. And I thought, but I don't sweep the floor anymore. I have like a robot that does that. Sweeps the floor, vacuums and washes. So it's like the 21st century witch. I don't have a mop and a little robot. But there's the incantation. You can use that for yourself. Yeah, and I like that it has banish as well as is not welcome. Because you could say banish, and what was the other? I looked at this later and I thought you could say not permitted, but that is almost like repeating banish. I do not accept, because banish is throwing it out, and not welcome is I am not giving it invite to my space. So I thought this is a really great incantation. Oh, maybe it can be improved upon, I don't know. But anyways, so that just came to me like a soul memory. It was really weird. So I did that throughout the house. I did singing bowl throughout the house, actually opened windows, allowed darkness to leave, little serpent face to go. And then I did. Then I, like, once that was cleared out, I got my singing bowl out, went through the whole house again, and I welcomed, asked for divine energy to, you know, protect. So many ways you can ask for that. It's actually a lot easier. Divinity just comes in a snap like that. So to bring it in, and I gotta tell you, my day has been so good. My day has been good. I did wake up at 4 a.m. because I was anxious because I had a dental appointment today, and the last few appointments, there's something that they do in my mouth that makes me really anxious. They didn't do it today. It was a 20-minute appointment. They sat me up. I'm like, that's it? We're done? Yeah, you're done. See you in 4 weeks. I thought, oh my God, this is so amazing. So I actually came back and I did Aquarius and Pisces, so you'll get them tomorrow. I didn't think I would, because after being in the chair, like sitting in anxiety and just trying to go to your happy place and breathe through an experience that makes you uncomfortable is exhausting, and I was already tired. But hey, I got it done, and because I love doing what I do, and I did want to kind of close that off for you guys. I'll probably take tomorrow off. I'm gonna tell you that now. So, which means Wednesday. There'll probably be no videos because tomorrow's Tuesday for me. So there's that. I want to feel like I've touched on a lot of things here. There's so many, you know, you guys can share in the comments too. There's so many ways to cleanse your energy. There's crystals, there's Epsom salt baths, there's so many things. I want to also say the other reason, I'm pretty sure I know why that little thing was able to come through, because when I do a reading, I am opening up a portal. I really am. I've learned that too with the camera and doing that. I have, and I won't say what it is. I was a little apprehensive about sharing the incantation, but I also have, because if people want to do negative spell work against you, they can. If you give them your correcting spell, they can work that against you. But I'm actually very confident that I have the tools that I need at any time to protect myself. I certainly learned that last night, which you could say that little serpent guy was a catalyst to it. But if I had just chosen to look at it as, oh, this is symbolizing a rebirth in my life, no, I knew it was bad. I knew it was bad. I felt it to my core, and it was connected to something that I had experienced just a couple of nights before that made, like, why? The synchronicity of that was crazy. Where are they going with this? Where am I going? There. This is the brain fog part. Oh yes, okay. Whenever I start a reading, I have sort of a protective mantra that I use, and I won't share that with you. And it works like a charm in my readings. I had just finished doing Sagittarius and Capricorn before I did that live. I had invoked that mantra before doing the reading. I forgot to do it in the live. It's my fault. I mean, it is. I was busy and I was kind of rushing things around, wanted to make sure I had everything in place. I forgot to do that. So yeah, I mean, in some ways it was my fault because I allowed something to kind of sneak in from behind, but I think there was such strong messages about the veil is thin, honey. The veil is thin. It is very thin right now, and I imagine it's going to stay that way for the next couple of days. I don't know why, what's significant. You know, maybe you guys do. But yeah, so that's why I think that also came through. It was lurking. It was lurking for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why, because it was already here. And I have cleansed this house a couple of times since I've moved in with singing bowls and sage. It sounds kind of weird, But it also led up to this extreme change in weather that we just had, where it's suddenly like the temperatures just dropped like nuts. And this door is rotting. This front door is rotting on this house. So there's a lot of things that this house needs. So anyways, I was putting weather strip at the bottom, like about a month or so ago on my finger. Went through the door. Thought, it needs more than weather stripping. But it's almost like something took refuge in the house, I feel like. Leading up to the full moon and the extreme weather outside, it was weird. So I don't know. Anyways, I've mantraed, I've incantated, I've cleansed, and I'm having a very good day. But I do think it's good to be vigilant in this type of energy that is going on right now. So I hope that incantation is helpful for you. You can apply it in whatever way you feel you might need to apply it. And yeah, so that's just my little story and a little bit of my own experience. Hey, I'm just human, having a human experience. And apparently I've probably had a few in long ago. That was weird. But anyways, I think that's all I have to say. So yeah, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. For those of you that asked, I'm actually having a really good day. Thank the little people, knock on wood. Yeah, so that's what I have for you, my friends. And yeah, you know, be just look after yourselves. Be gentle with yourselves. Bye.